You've got to be kidding me right now. Dominik Mysterio just publicly humiliated both Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez on Smackdown, and I'm about to tell you why this is the most disrespectful, career-ending mistake Dirty Dom has ever made in his life. This man actually had the audacity to claim both women as his girlfriends like he's running some kind of twisted wrestling harem, and the fallout from this is going to be nuclear. If you're not absolutely furious after hearing what went down, then you weren't paying attention. Listen, I've covered a lot of controversial storylines on this channel, but what Dominik pulled on SmackDown might be the most arrogant, disrespectful display we've seen from any WWE superstar this year. This isn't just about relationship drama, this is about a man who thinks he can play with people's emotions on live television and get away with it. But here's the thing, Wrestling Zone fam, karma is real in professional wrestling, and Dominik Mysterio is about to learn that lesson the hard way. Let me paint you the complete picture of what happened, because the details make this situation even worse than you think. SmackDown opened with Dominik Mysterio strutting down to the ring like he owned the place, that cocky smirk plastered across his face that we've all grown to absolutely despise. He grabbed a microphone, and before anyone could even process what was happening, he started running his mouth about how he's the most desirable man in WWE and how women can't resist Dirty Dom. Already, you can feel your blood starting to boil, right? But it gets so much worse. Dominik proceeded to claim that both Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez are his girlfriends, and that they both know about each other and are completely fine with the arrangement. Can you believe the disrespect? This man really stood in that ring and tried to convince the WWE universe that these two incredibly talented, independent, powerful women are just okay being part of his little game. Now, here's where you need to drop a comment below because I want your honest opinion. Do you think Liv Morgan is going to let this slide, or is she about to end Dominik's whole career? Let me know in the comments. The camera cut to backstage where Liv Morgan was watching on a monitor, and guys, the look on her face said everything. This wasn't the face of someone who was completely fine with anything. This was the face of a woman who was calculating exactly how she was going to make Dominik pay for his words. Liv has been through absolute wars in WWE. She's a former SmackDown Women's Champion, she's main event premium live events, and she's proven time and time again that she doesn't need any man to validate her worth in this business. For Dominik to reduce her to just one of his girlfriends is not only insulting to Liv personally, but it's insulting to everything she's accomplished in her career. This is a woman who climbed the ladder, literally and figuratively, to become champion. She's fought tooth and nail for respect in that locker room, and now Dominik thinks he can just casually claim her like she's some kind of accessory to his storyline? The disrespect is off the charts. But wait, it gets even more complicated when you factor in Roxanne Perez. Now, Roxanne has been on an absolute tear lately. This woman is one of the most technically gifted wrestlers in the entire company. She's a former NXT Women's Champion, and she's been making waves with her in-ring ability and her killer instinct. Roxanne Perez doesn't play games, and she certainly doesn't strike me as someone who would willingly share a boyfriend with another woman, especially not someone like Dominik Mysterio. The way WWE shot this segment, with Roxanne also shown backstage watching Dominik's proclamation, you could see the wheels turning in her head too. But here's what's interesting, and this is where the story gets its layers. Roxanne didn't look angry like Liv did. She looked calculating. She looked like someone who was already 3 steps ahead, planning her next move. Question for you guys watching, who do you think is going to get revenge on Dominik first, Liv or Roxanne? And how do you think they are going to do it? Drop your predictions in the comments because I'm reading every single one. Now let's talk about why this storyline is either going to be absolutely brilliant or a complete disaster, and there's really no in between here. On one hand, if WWE handles this correctly, we could be looking at one of the most compelling love triangle, or should I say love square storylines in recent memory. The potential for drama, betrayal, championship implications, and long-term storytelling is absolutely there. Think about it, Liv Morgan could team up with Roxanne Perez to absolutely destroy Dominik, teaching him that you don't mess with powerful women in WWE. That would be poetic justice and would give us some incredible tag team action with 2 of the most talented women on the roster working together toward a common goal. Or, and this is where it gets spicy, Liv and Roxanne could turn on each other, each one trying to prove that they are the better woman, the better wrestler, and the one who deserves to stand tall while Dominik is left in the dust. But here's where WWE needs to be very careful. This storyline walks a dangerous line between compelling drama and potentially problematic content. The last thing we need is for this to devolve into a storyline where women are fighting over a man who clearly doesn't respect either of them. That's not the message WWE should be sending in 2024, especially when they've made such strides in how they portray their female talent. The women's division in WWE has evolved so much over the past decade. We've gone from divas competitions and bra and panties matches to women main eventing WrestleMania, headlining premium live events, and being featured as the top draws of their respective brands. Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez are part of that evolution. They are wrestlers first, characters second, and they deserve storylines that showcase their abilities, not storylines that reduce them to romantic interests fighting over a man. Here's another question I need you to answer in the comments. Do you think this storyline helps or hurts Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez's credibility as top stars? Be honest, I want to hear both sides. Now let's talk about Dominik Mysterio himself, because love him or hate him, and trust me, most people hate him, the man knows how to generate heat. Ever since he turned on his legendary father Rey Mysterio and joined the Judgment Day, Dominik has been on an absolute roll as one of the most hated heels in all of WWE. He gets nuclear heat from every crowd, his matches are engaging because people want to see him get his ass kicked, and he's developed this character into something genuinely compelling. But this move, claiming two women as his girlfriends simultaneously, this might be the most heat-generating thing he's done yet. Social media absolutely exploded after Smackdown. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform was talking about Dominik's audacity. The phrase Dirty Dom was trending worldwide, and not in a good way for him. Fans are furious, and that's exactly what WWE wants. The question is, where does this story go from here? Because Dominik has essentially painted a massive target on his back, and not just from Liv and Roxanne, but potentially from the entire locker room. Who's going to respect a guy who plays games like this? Who's going to want to team with him or work with him when he's proven he can't be trusted? And let's not forget about the Judgment Day. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and the rest of the faction have to be looking at Dominik right now thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? Because if there's one thing you don't do in a faction, it's bring unnecessary drama that could split the group apart. If Liv and Roxanne start targeting Dominik, that puts the entire Judgment Day in the crosshairs, and that creates problems for everyone. Here's what I think is going to happen, and you tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments. I think Liv Morgan is going to strike first. She's going to challenge Dominik to put his money where his mouth is, maybe forcing him into a mixed tag team match where she gets to legally kick his ass in the ring. Liv has that fire, that intensity, and she's not the type to let disrespect slide. Roxanne, on the other hand, I think she's playing the long game. She's going to let Dominik think he's gotten away with it, let him get comfortable, and then she's going to strike when he least expects it. Roxanne is strategic, she's calculated, and she's proven in NXT that she's willing to do whatever it takes to win. Don't sleep on Roxanne Perez in this situation. But here's the real twist that nobody's talking about yet. What if Liv and Roxanne actually are working together? What if this whole thing is a setup to expose Dominik as the fraud and coward that he really is? What if these two brilliant women are playing 4D chess while Dominik is playing checkers? That would be the ultimate payoff to this storyline, showing that the women were always in control, always one step ahead, and that Dominik was nothing more than a pawn in their game. Final question for the comments, and this is important: how should WWE end this storyline? What would be the most satisfying conclusion for you as a fan? I'm genuinely curious because there are so many directions they could take this. Look, at the end of the day, Dominik Mysterio crossed a line on Smackdown. Whether this storyline becomes legendary or falls flat depends entirely on how WWE books the payoff. But one thing is absolutely certain: Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez are not going to let this disrespect go unanswered. Dominik thinks he's untouchable, he thinks he can say whatever he wants without consequences, but he's about to learn that in WWE, karma always comes back around. These two women are going to make him pay, and when they do, it's going to be absolutely glorious to watch. Dominik Mysterio just made the biggest mistake of his career, and the WWE Universe is going to be there to witness his downfall every step of the way. If you're as fired up about this as I am, smash that like button, share this video with every wrestling fan you know because they need to hear about this, and subscribe to Wrestling Zone for more breaking news and analysis. Drop your comments below, tell me how you think this story should play out, and let's keep this conversation going. Dominik Mysterio, you've been warned. Helleth no fury like women scorned, especially when those women are two of the most dangerous competitors in WWE. Your days of running your mouth are numbered, and we're all going to enjoy watching you get exactly what you deserve.